Good morning. Here we go again then. The draw for the last 16 of the Champions League coming your way at 11 o'clock. Liverpool, Arsenal and Aston Villa all set to find out their fate.
And Liverpool are top of the leagues, Premier and Champions, on a slot side, win again.
It's always nice if there's a new...
Aston Villa have done what they had to do tonight. Their part of the deal was to win.
In Champions League, we are not contender to win at the end, but we want to enjoy, we want to compete, we want to be protagonists, we want to as well to show our capacity.
Well, welcome along to the Football News Show. We started with 36, we've got rid of 20, including, somewhat surprisingly, the likes of Milan, Juventus and Manchester City, to leave us with the last 16 standing. Here's how the draw is going to work then. The teams who finished in the top 8 in the league phase, they are the seeded teams. They're going to face a side who came through the knockout round, and the way the new format works this season, clubs know they'll face one of 2 teams. For Liverpool, who top the league, they will play either PSG or Benfica. The same scenario for Barcelona on the other side of the draw. They'll not be able to meet until the final, therefore. It's a trip to Holland for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. They'll find out whether it's PSV or Feyenoord shortly. They both surprised Italian teams in Juventus and AC Milan, respectively. And for Aston Villa, they'll take on either last year's runners-up in Borussia Dortmund or the Belgian side Club Brugge, who knocked out the Europa League winners Atalanta in the playoffs. Not only will teams find out their next opponent, they'll know their potential route to the final in Munich at the end of May. That is the simple version. Anyway, in true UEFA style, there is some more complexity to it, but they will explain that all for us. I'm joined by the former Liverpool, Villa and England defender, Stephen Warnock. It's a little bit of an unusual buzz for the draw these days, isn't it? With teams knowing pretty much one of 2 who they'll face.
Yeah, it is a little bit different, but I think from a team's perspective and a club's perspective, they can plan the travel. They can also now start looking at teams, oppositions they might face, and the analysis can start to get underway. So they're a little bit more prepared for that side of the game. For the fans, they can almost start looking at travel side of things. But it's just be very interesting to see who the teams go up against them.
Yeah, if we look at who the English sides could potentially face, Liverpool, PSG or Benfica. I mean, PSG would be a mouth-watering clash, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. I think that's the one that Liverpool fans are hoping to avoid. They're looking potentially at the Benfica game, thinking that would be the ideal opponent, especially with the way the Premier League's going at the moment. They'd be thinking that would suit them a little bit more, and they fancy the chances.
Take a look at Arsenal. There could be a lovely narrative if they get Feyenoord.
Oh, it could be brilliant, couldn't it?
new format that you end up number 1, but it doesn't give us any assurances for the next round.
Arsenal finished the Champions League phase with a 4th successive win.
The team has been very consistent regardless of all the issues that we had to face, and hopefully more belief in that dressing room that we're a good team and we can face anybody and still perform and win games.
Games for the Premier League to try to next season to be here and to improve. So nothing is eternal. We have been unbelievable and we have to try step by step to get better than from today. So we cannot win the Premier League and FA Cup of course is there, but we are in the Champions League. Now we have 30 games and we have to be top 4, top 5. I don't know what will be the there to try to be here again. Yeah, of course.
Stephen, no Haaland, no Rodri. It was always going to be a tough ask, wasn't it?
It was, but the damage was done in the first leg. And when you think of the position that they found themselves in, 2-1 up with Robin van Persie potentially going in as manager of Feyenoord, there's rumours of him getting that job in the next couple of days. But they've done extremely well, Feyenoord. They've had a couple of managerial changes this year. It's not quite worked out for them, but they've still progressed through the stages and they've looked devastating at times, and obviously getting a big win away at AC Milan in the week.
Yeah, it was a huge, huge result. Aston Villa getting Dortmund or Club Brugge. They played Club Brugge in the league phase, and Tyrone Mings had that handball little brain fade, a chance potentially for some redemption there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Bruges have been the team that no one wants to face now. I think everyone would have said at the beginning of the competition, if you give us Club Bruges, we'd be more than happy with that. But now they're looking at it thinking, away from home, difficult tie. But they've proven now why they're in this competition and why they're such a difficult team to face. And let's not look past, they've just beaten the Europa League champions in Atalanta, who were an extremely good team, very well organised, difficult to play against. So they'll be feared.
Yeah, and Aston Villa seem like they're coming into a little bit more form as well at the minute. Right, let's quickly reflect on the two British sides beaten in the knockouts. One close, one not so close. Celtic looked to be taken by into extra time in Munich, only for a 94th minute equaliser, seeing the Germans through 2-1 on aggregate. Manchester City comfortably beaten on aggregate by Kylian Mbappe-inspired Real Madrid.
With time, the team, the club and everyone is going to, to accept what it is. But now we have
5 minutes to go, added time, and they concede those goals, then it becomes even more difficult. I was very surprised at how they played the other night. I thought they were very passive in the way that they played. I thought it was a little bit of an age in midfield when you think of Gundogan alongside Bernardo Silva. They didn't perhaps have that energy. And he almost went with two up front with Marmoush and Savinho up top, and it just didn't quite work for them. But Real Madrid, they won it at a canter. It is, like Pep says now, it's a rebuilding stage. It has been a surprise for everyone to see where Manchester City are, but they haven't been the powerhouse that they've been in previous seasons.
For Real, has the knockout round almost been beneficial for them to play themselves into a little bit of form against a formidable team like Manchester City? And just, I think they're still the favourites for the competition after all of this as well.
Yeah, they will be the favourites. After that game, I think everyone will look at that and say, to go to the Etihad and to win in the way that they did, it shows the quality they've got. The game was very comfortable for them the other night. What we do know is that Real Madrid come alive at this stage of the competition. They want to get into gear. They're a frightening proposition, and they haven't even got all the players fully fit and up to speed yet.
They could get Atletico Madrid in the last 16 as well. We'll find out. That draw's coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. The top 5 finish might, though, be enough for Manchester City to qualify for the competition next season, because an additional space will be awarded to each of the top 2 countries based on the UEFA coefficient. England top that league, Italy a second. However, third place Spain aren't far off, especially as Italy have lost 3 teams in the Champions League already and only have 4 of their 8 teams still in Europe. Stephen, does this present maybe potentially a once-in-a-generation opportunity for a Nottingham Forest or a Bournemouth to maybe make the Champions League?
100% it does. It couldn't have gone much better for the English clubs the other night with the 3 Italian teams going out. I think it surprised everyone that they did go out in the manner that they went out. But now the opportunity for Bournemouth or Nottingham Forest to just perhaps get their opportunity to get Champions League football, it'd be quite incredible for them. I think we were speaking before, Bournemouth would have to go elsewhere if they made it into the Champions League. Their stadium's not big enough. But Nottingham Forest, they're steeped in history of European competition. Imagine the City ground under the lights on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. That would be that'd be a sort of a place where no European team would enjoy going. The atmosphere there is quite incredible. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. But now it gives the likes of Newcastle and Chelsea the opportunity to perhaps just jump into those places if they can get a good run of form going.
I was going to say, of those teams that we just saw there, who do you think has got the potential to push up the table? Do we think we might see Forest and Bournemouth slip away, or have they shown no evidence of that?
They haven't shown any evidence. You think of Bournemouth and they haven't even got a fully fit squad. They've got youngsters on the bench and they're still churning out results. They had the loss against Liverpool, but the devastating win against Newcastle away from home. And Newcastle have been on such a great run as well. I think you go as low as Aston Villa. I just think with the signings that they've made, the game against Liverpool in midweek, we saw signs that they're starting to grow back into things. I'd go as low as Aston Villa. That's where it's
going to be absolutely fascinating. Right, it is coming up to 11 o'clock then. Let's take you straight to Pedro Pinto at the UEFA headquarters in Nyon in Switzerland. It is the draw for the last 16 of the Champions League coming your way.